What's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning back in. Today on this video, I'm going to show y'all how to basically make some homemade beadlocks on the rear. I don't have beadlock money. Some of you guys out there, I'm sure you don't have beadlock money. But if you want to find a way other than actually like gluing the tire to the rim, which you can also do if you didn't want to drill a brand new set of wheels, which I'm about to do. But I'm going to show you how to line everything up, punch and drill a hole in all the way around on both sides of your rim. That way you can mount your tire on there. Your holes are already going to be drilled, and you can just run a screw down in them to actually hold the tire to the bead of the rim to keep any kind of slippage. We ran into that issue the first time we took the car out to test, and it's kind of dangerous to do it that way. A lot of people have their own opinion on running tubes or not. I'm running tubes in these. It's just safer to do whenever you're going to be screwing your tires to your beads on your rims. Also, if you're running beadlocks anyway, you want to run a tube in the tire. So I probably won't be able to show you the tires being mounted on the wheels, but and how the tubes are put in. But I'm sure somebody out there has a video on how that's done. But anyways, on this video, I want to show you guys how I do it. There might be different ways you can do it, but to me, I've done it already once, so I think I've pretty well, and it held up good. Everything looked good. So we'll just take it step by step, and I'll open these wheels up and show you what they look like. I've already got one set on the car. One half of the car has already got a set on it, just setting up there, so you kind of see what it looks like or what it's going to look like. It's kind of a big change from what I had on there. I hope you guys like them. You let me know what you guys think about them too. But yeah, let's look at these wheels real quick. All right, so I pretty much unboxed these already. That way it'd be a little easier for me to just pull out and show you guys. This is the front wheel first. I mean, that's a huge difference in what we had. I think they're pretty sexy. Oh yeah, pretty nice. So I'll tell you a little bit about these wheels real quick. The reason I ended up buying another set, which like I said, I don't have beadlock money, but the reason I ended up buying another set of wheels period was because I've been wanting to change the wheel style anyway. Instead of just all black, the all black looked really good. That I thought I got a lot of compliments on the car the way it looked. But I think this polished aluminum is going to look, just going to stand out and make the car look pop a little bit better. The wheels that I had on the rear were 15 by 8s, and I was running a 10.5-inch slick. And it doesn't really make a huge difference, I wouldn't say, but you want to get all you can get. So I stepped up to a 10-inch wide wheel and still running a 28-10-5 tire. So we're not changing the tire setup, we're just changing the width of the wheel, just maybe pull the tire down just a little bit more on the edges to get all the traction we can get as far as running a slick. I will say when I bought the wheels that I already had the I'll show it to you in just a second, but it's like a jig to be able to set on the wheel and see where you're gonna punch your holes and drill with your drill bit. Either way, I'll show that to you. And I did order another set of screws from Jags whenever I went ahead and ordered the wheels. I'll show you this diagram real quick, or this jig. So this is the jig that you're going to use, and you can see it has these little cutouts all the way around it. Try to show you guys a little bit better. You can see these little, it's like a little cutout and then like a dot where they've drilled it out. This thing has 16 notches out of it. I'm only running 8, so we're only running half. So I wanted to let you guys know that. So what I did was I just put a little dot on each, like every other hole, so you don't like kind of lose track of what you're doing. But yeah, that way you can set it on here and you know which spots you're going to be using your punch. You want to use the punch. You don't want to just throw a drill bit on there and start going at it, because the drill bit's just going to be sliding around and you're not going to have a direct spot where you're going to be drilling your hole. So the best thing for you to do is just put the jig up there. You're going to hold your punch up there, take a little hammer and pop it, and it's going to leave obviously a little dip for your drill bit to set in. And when you start drilling, it'll actually follow into that dip and go in the direction that you want it to go in. I always start with the back side of the rim. That way we get like a little practice round. If we end up trying to scratch something or something's not right, I would rather it be on the back of the rim instead of the front side of the rim where everybody's going to see the rim. I think that's about it as far as explaining everything. It's my personal opinion to just run 8 screws. You can run all 16. You don't even have to run 8. You can space it out and do fewer around the rim if you wanted to. Since I've already used these spots, I'm going to reuse them and do it like I did last time and just pretty well put it right where it's going to be at. And I'll take a Sharpie and kind of mark the edge of the rim, and that way I know that the valve stem is going to be right here, and I can set this in there and know once that's lined up with that where that valve stem is, I know that I can start marking. That's just an OCD preference. I don't think it would really matter if you was to put a screw right here where the valve stem goes. It's not going to touch it or bother it, but I'm kind of OCD, so I want it to kind of offset of where the valve stem is. It looks better to me. In order not to scratch the rim as much as possible, we are going to use some masking tape. So I'm going to run some masking tape all the way around to kind of keep this metal piece from scratching our new rims. Okay, so I completely forgot that I need to be talking to you guys whenever I'm doing this. I just got concentrated. But you seen me tape the other side of the rim. Just kind of went around the whole edge, kind of pushed it down into the crease. Now, if you did notice, I did take a piece of masking tape and I found where the valve stem hole is. So I basically just lined the tape up with half of the circle for the hole, for the valve stem, and ran a straight by eye beam up. I'm not too worried about how the back is gonna look as far as being offset with the valve stem, but if I'm gonna do one side, I like to try to do both sides. So that's just personal preference. You could just slap this thing on here and do the back side and not care. But the front side, obviously you want to pay attention. You did see where I lined up, just did it by eye. It doesn't have to be exact dead on. I will say I do have a pretty good eye for things like that. But I just went by eye and just made my little mark with my pen there. And I know that's exactly where at some point in that middle of that mark is where the valve stem is going to go. And then that way I can go by that on the other side and obviously offset like I was explaining to you previously in the video. The drill bit that they give you is actually quite large, and when you go using this template, it's really going to kind of waller out the hole, and it doesn't even fit down in the little holes, period. So now that everything is coming back to me, because I've already forgot apparently, I actually used a smaller drill bit that would fit down into these holes to go ahead and drill a pilot hole, and you can obviously go back and make the hole bigger. I believe that's what I did. In fact, I know that's what I did. All right, so I'm going to use some tape to try to hold this template where we want it at, because we're going to be kind of beating and banging on it. It's going to try to move, and you don't want to misalign the holes that you've already obviously popped. All right, so we got our pilot hole drilled all the way around. I think we're gonna be in good shape. It looks like everything looks good. Looks fairly trustworthy to me. So now what I'll probably do is take the template off and just go ahead and run a little bit bigger of a drill bit in there to go ahead and waller out the hole. Let's see if I can find one here. So you can see how that hole was pretty much lined up in the center of this, and that's kind of how you want it all the way around. Just take your time when you're doing this. The back side is what I would do first, so that way you're not doing the front side with no experience on it. You can do the back side. Go ahead and get the nervousness knocked off. You know what you're doing, and then move around to the front. All right, so that was pretty nerve-wracking. As you can tell, it took a lot of concentration for me to, I checked and checked, and you could probably see me check 3 or 4 times. I checked all the way around, then I took a screw and kind of eyeballed it to see where it's gonna set. You don't want it too far outside of to the edge here, because then you're gonna catch the curb of this lip. And you don't want that, because then it's never gonna work right. So you wanna try to basically even it out between where the lip is and then where the curvature of the rim starts. It's not always going to be perfect, and not every single one of them are going to be perfect, but as long as it goes through that rim and it catches the bead of that tire, that's what you want. Alright, so before I get started on this too, I actually used a bigger punch instead of my tiny one because I punched it, I used the punch outside of using the diagram. I just did it by freehand and not using the diagram, so I was able to use my bigger punch. Therefore, it left a bigger dimple into the rim. So I don't think there's a need to use a small pilot hole and then drill twice. So we're just gonna go ahead and use our bigger drill bit that we used on the back side for the second step. And we're just gonna go ahead and drill a bigger pilot hole on this side. Alright guys, so we got the tape pulled off. Try to show you guys the best I can these holes here. You can see where a drill kind of marked the rim a little bit, but it's not going to matter because the actual head of the screw is going to cover that. So that thing ought to set just about like that all the way through. Alright, so I've got one of those in there. As you can tell, it's centered up that, pretty flush mounted. Now I will say the only thing that I've noticed, and I did notice it with my black wheels, and I forgot to mention it, that your socket is actually going to end up rubbing this lip because it's so tight. I guess that's one reason why you want it spaced out here a little bit. I don't know if that's why they done it in the diagram, but I mean, if somebody wants to get down on their hands and knees and inspect my rims, then that's on them. But you're not going to notice this little spot right here where the socket actually rubs. I'll go ahead and give you a look on the inside. You can see where that screw is. And I feel like it's going to grab the lip of the bead of that tire really good, being right there even with that lip as well. All right guys, so the main goal was to show you how to mock up and actually screw, drill holes and beadlock your rims the old-fashioned way. Obviously I don't have the tires and stuff mounted on here. One thing I am going to do before I ever take these to the shop to have the tires put on is you want to go and look around the entire rim, top and bottom, and make sure that there's no drill burrs from where you drilled these out. You want these to be nice and flat and flush. I'm talking you can take a deburr tool and deburr it and clean it off really good. Take you a little bit of sandpaper or whatever and kind of knock it down any kind of edges. You don't want to take a chance on damaging your tires once you get your tires mounted on here. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this one up. I hope you guys learned something. If you didn't, let me know. If you have any other suggestions or ideas, just hit me up on my Instagram, Team Sharp Racing. This is pretty much just a few of my tutorial videos I've done. I feel like I haven't done one in a long time other than just stand and look at the camera and talk and be boring. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think. Once I get the tires and stuff mounted on here, I'll show you what they look like after we get them mounted on the car. I might do an add-on, just a short clip video in the future after we do all that. But yeah, appreciate it guys. Keep in touch with me. Stay tuned. All right guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in there. I got the tires mounted on the rims today, and I was just gonna do one wheel and screw all of my screws in there just so you guys can see it and get an idea. Let's do that real quick. Simple as that. I think they look pretty damn good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mount one of these on the car, or mount at least one side on the car. Let you guys look at it real quick. All right, y'all. We got one side on. I know it's not sitting on the ground, but I'll put a video out later, or more pictures or something on my social media. They don't rub, but it's also not sitting on the ground, but it's sitting on its own weight on the axles, or on the axle, so that's gonna give you your truest way to check. But I think it's gonna tut real nice. All right guys, y'all let me know what you think about it.